Andy Ruiz is going to decision Luis Ortiz. Now, before explaining the who wins answer, I think I should first address the who cares question. Because let's be honest, this isn't the hottest matchup out there for Ruiz. We would have been more excited for a showdown against Wilder, but right now Ortiz is a far less dangerous opponent. So, who will care about this fight and pay $50 for it? I don't know. Well, truth is, I was gonna say hardcore boxing fans, but even them know it's a scam, so... Now, if we look past the fact that one of the fighters is 1,000 years old, this matchup has the ingredients for a good fight. It features two heavyweights equally matched in boxing skills, with two different styles. Ruiz, the fast-handed Mexican boxer, Ortiz, the hard-hitting Cuban counterpuncher. It's an opportunity for both men to rise in moral standing and take a step closer to the title. I'm sorry, that's pretty much all I have to entice you to watch the rest of this video, so... Anyway, let's take a look at Ortiz first. And I've got to be straight with you guys. The only thing I really knew about him was the fact that he fought for the heavyweight championship of the world against Deontay Wilder. Not once, but twice. Dominating him, not once but twice. Before getting smashed, not once, but anyway, you get the idea.
Oh, most definitely.
Now, ever since Max Kellerman said that Ortiz was the fighter nobody wanted to fight.
I'm curious, Tyson, what you thought of Deontay's fight against Ortiz, who's a guy no one wanted to fight.
And looking at his age, I was stunned. Because in my memory of how stood old heavyweights from the past, young heavyweights or title holders wanted to fight them, wherever they could find them. It was like a paid vacation with a big name to put on your boxing resume. That's what happened with Foreman and Larry Holmes when they were back in the game in their 40s. Only thing is, those guys had won titles before and were established legends. Ortiz has never won a world title, and at 43, he's way past the late bloomer stage. His reputation is based on 2 defeats. I'm not saying he's a lousy fighter. You can't be at this level of the game if you're not good. But the guy is pushing 40 and it's a young man's game. Just ask yourself this question. Based on how it would look on the sport, would you like him to become heavyweight champion? Exactly. Now on to Andy Ruiz. The man who wrecked a century of fitness and turned his career into oblivion just half a year later.
I don't want to be a 15-minute fame.
Has been looking for Ortiz since losing the title.
What is the biggest attainable fight for you, do you think, at this point in time?
I don't know. Everybody's talking about me and Ortiz, you know? Me and Ortiz, I think that would be a great fight.
Andy Ruiz is a gifted fighter. But based on the 2 most important fights of his career, he's just a one-time wonder. I'm not trying to discredit the man, but let's be honest, he doesn't really belong in a discussion with the elite heavyweights of his time. But if he should prepare for a crafty southpaw like Usyk, well, Ortiz is the man to go through. So let's talk about it. Ruiz hasn't fought in 16 months, which is about the same when he fought Arreola. And we all remember how he looked in there. Knocked out in round 2, rocked in round 3. Now in Ruiz's defense, people don't give enough credit to Arreola's performance that night. He came in at his career lightest weight and was determined to revive his career. That's a tough man to beat for anybody. Now, just like his fight against Arreola, ring rust will definitely affect Ruiz. And I think we can expect him to get tagged by Ortiz and go down eventually. But in the end, that's as far as it goes. If Ortiz should win, it would have to be by a decision. I don't see him knocking out Ruiz. He doesn't have that punch that can take out a heavyweight like Wilder does, for example. Even Joshua, who has punching power, couldn't stop him. Caught him many times in a rematch, and Ruiz was still standing. Even in the first fight when Joshua was close to knock him out, after Ruiz was dropped in the 3rd round, he got up and immediately took a huge right hand by Joshua. Yet he was still standing and fighting back. Also, I don't see Ruiz knocking out Ortiz. Yes, Ortiz's only 2 losses have been by way of knockout, but it was against the biggest puncher in the division, and he's not Tyson Fury. However, just like he proved in his last fight, if he gets knocked down, he gets back up and shakes it off. I only have doubts in the later rounds though. This is a 12-rounder, and the last time Ortiz went that far was almost 6 years ago. Ruiz lasted 12 rounds in his last 2 fights, so that may work to his advantage. But unless Ortiz tires in the end and Ruiz presses forward, I think this one will go the distance. To sum it up, I hope Ortiz will give his last hurrah for this fight, and we can move on with Ruiz. As I said before, nobody wants to see a 50-year-old heavyweight champion. There are some exceptions, like Foreman, who won it at 45, but he had a massive following and a great story behind him.
Foreman is the unquestioned champion of the 40-something generation.
But even with this, it didn't look good on the sport. Ortiz is a gatekeeper to the elite heavyweights in my opinion. The question is, does Ruiz belong in that category too? We'll find out on September 4th. Thank you for watching, I'll see you guys soon.